Welcome back. Well, the second radio ratings survey of the year from Nielsen was out this week. Let's start with Sydney. James Manning here from Mediaweek to take us through the numbers. Now, obviously, we were just speaking there about what we saw in terms of Kyle and the backlash. Has that been reflected in the ratings?
Yeah, look, overall, today was up slightly. Breakfast is actually down at near a 2-year low, but there's not a lot in it, so it's there's certainly not a trend there at the moment.
3AW in Melbourne seeing a big jump in this latest survey.
Fantastic. Good news for them too, because they usually get a big jump when football starts, so they sort of preceded that a little bit. Good one for Fox too. Nova down a little bit and Triple M flat there in Melbourne. And
Brisbane, always a competitive market. No, not for number one spot though.
Yeah, third survey in a row that the ARN outfit 97.3 has been number one up there, so they're loving that and making the most of it.
And in Adelaide, Mix seeing a bit of a drop.
Another ARN station on top, yeah, Mix. Nearly 2 years, I think, at least it's been sort of number one FM there.
And also the Mix in Perth as well, clear leader.
Yep, 99 survey wins. That's Southern Cross Austereo, of course, over there. And a great survey for a 6PR at the bottom of the table there.
All right, let's now turn to the TV ratings, and this is for week 12. Let's start with the free-to-air first. And James, we did see My Kitchen Rules take out the top 5 entirely.
Yeah, it's been dominating, and we'll see that one more time it'll appear on this program.
And looking at subscription TV, we can see there NRL, AFL sharing the top 5. And looking at the non-sport, Sky News with Queensland election there taking out the most watched.
I'd like to see that.
All right, let's just turn and have a look at some of the things happening in TV at the moment. We've seen record audiences, as we saw just then, for Seven and for My Kitchen Rules. There are now news that Pacific Magazine's going to make the most of this with another cookbook. Yeah,
they did one last year, did fantastically well, so they've pumped it out this week to coincide with the end of the show. So yeah, it's a profitable area for them when they can combine with their TV partner. And
Nick, we've been hearing reports of ad discounting by 9 and 10 in the first quarter, given the dominance of 7. Is this something you've been seeing?
I mean, look, there's those two networks have to try harder to increase their share, given the not only their performance in the first quarter from an audience point of view, but also the performance last year, which is where a lot of that is traded. I mean, there's any given time where demand is sort of sitting at that average level, the perfect lead time to putting schedules on air is 3 months. But it's not that they're discounting ahead. When we look at Q2 and we look at some of the content that's coming up, particularly for Network 9 between 7 and 8:30, they're not out in the market discounting what are potentially going to be big hits. But what they will do is they'll trade that short-term money where the inventory is available. So yes, in that sense. But I think these sort of things do get exaggerated a bit. But all TV's down so far. January to February is back 4%. So it is certainly a softer market. Plus those two networks are certainly well behind 7.
And just looking at 10, I wanted to ask you, because obviously we've been hearing a lot about the Shire and whether 10 really badly needs this program. A lot of controversy around it already.
Yeah, 10 are going big time on programs out of the Sutherland Shire, just on the edge of Sydney. They would like to get it on air. They're filming already, so I've got a feeling they'll try and get this one to air pretty quickly next year. They come straight back with MasterChef after Easter, though, which is, I think, going to do good business for them. Look, year on year, the comparisons will show it's down a little bit, I'm sure, but it'll still do good numbers.
And the Olympics, Nick, just quickly, I mean, there's talk that Nine's looking for a 3D channel, extra spectrum for their Olympics coverage there. Do you think that is going to be the big hit it normally is for viewers?
No, not at the minute. But look, Olympics is going to do well. It's got a strong history of doing well for the networks that have got it. We're certainly it's not the best time zone for some of the key sporting events, but they've put some good strategies and some good programming around that. So look, it'll undoubtedly do well.
Nick, great to talk to you as always. Thanks so much for coming on the program.
Pleasure.
Nick Keenan from Mediacom. Well, we might be at a time of huge change, the media being reminded right now just how important it is to preserve its history. So the Media Archives Project was launched this week, and James, you were there for that launch. Just quickly, this is actually a register of all of the archives, a database of where a lot of that media history is stored.
Yeah, it's hard to track down a lot of this stuff, so it's good to see some people sort of taking the time and putting it all together so we can sort of look after our past.
And it was interesting, you did speak to the administrator of the Media Archives project, Professor Griffin-Foley from Macquarie University, and she certainly had a message for the media about their own history.
What we've hoped to do with this database is to indicate to the industry that their own material has historical interest, that it is of interest to the future industry, it's of interest to academics, it's of interest to postgraduate students, and that they need to preserve their own history. So through this Media Archives project, or MAP, we've tried to demonstrate best practice, industry or public or research access to this material.
And James, also there helping to launch the project was Harold Mitchell.
Yeah, Harold's a great supporter of any cause he thinks worthy, and he's, he realises the importance of sort of safeguarding our history in the media, and we had a chat to him too.
It's very exciting that we have pegs in the grounds, that we know where we've been so we can know where we're going. I've always said that, and for us to be able to pull these things together, when you look at the history of Australia, it's only a very short one, but the media was such a very big part of it, as it continues to be, but it's now fragmented in such a way. This is incredible that we've been able to pull all of this together. You get people talking about their memories about anything, the media rolls into every bit of it.
Bridget was telling us the ABC understands about archiving their past, but commercial media, which you deal a lot with, hasn't been very good at it at all. That wouldn't surprise you?
The commercial media never found a way to make money out of the archives, which was one of the problems, but they can in the future perhaps, and this is a very important part of all of that. But commercial media was where so much of it started in just so many ways. But they moved on from owner to owner. The ABC, of course, always had one owner. That's their advantage.
You spoke with us last year about the media not sort of talking ourselves into a financial rut, yes. And we were already a quarter of a way through 2012. How did we go?
We didn't do too well. It's a great shame. This country, if you travel the world, is in an incredible position. When you think of it, most people have got a job, the house is okay, the petrol price isn't what it used to be, and there's more money in the bank than they've ever had before. We're doing very well. The only thing is missing that we just don't know it. It's the job of the media, it's the job of all of us, I'd have to say, to get out there and say, relax, it's all okay, we can get on with it.
You've rated Kim Williams very highly, and I think last year you had him as one of your media people of the year. He's undergoing some massive change across at News Limited. How do you think he's going, and maybe Greg Hywood as well, as sort of navigating the old media through a path?
Both are doing brilliantly. I suppose you'd expect me to say that, but I wouldn't say anything different, I'd have to say, other than what is absolutely right. In the case of Greg, he's taken on this giant monster, which is Fairfax. It's been brilliant over its 150-year plus history, going through the greatest transformational change ever in our lifetime, which is to the digital age. He's doing that, and that can't be easy to do. And in Kim's case, it's a powerhouse that he's got that has to both make money at one time and at the other time also make the same change like that. They're doing it aggressively, quickly, without blowing it up, and I think they're both doing a great job.
Sounds like it was a great night, James. As always, thank you. James Manning from Mediaweek. That's all we've got time for. Thanks for your company.